Ah, welcome. You know, what a time for the broadcasting software to suddenly freeze and decide that it needs to update right now. Um, so I saw we had a bunch of viewers, and then I had to end the stream for about 45 seconds. Hope y'all come back in just a second. Um, but yeah, there's still some technical difficulties every now and then. Um, but yeah, we should have it working in just a second. I'm going to get Stream Manager open. Yeah, we're working on it. Yeah, I gotta love the technology. And thank you, Synthesizing, for the follow. Appreciate it. Happy you're here. And yeah, okay. Oh, did the video freeze again? Is the video moving for y'all? Okay, it froze for me for a second, but it's back. It's being kind of funny today. I'm gonna try and close any programs that I'm not using. Give it some extra juice, I guess. Maybe I should close one of the 700 windows I have open on my computer. That might help. All right. That looks to be doing a little better. Yeah, technology is not my forte. Even though, like, literally this was my job 10 years ago, you know, it's changed a lot since then, and I don't get it now. But anyways, welcome. Today, going back in the order, because I did the Hierophant last week, and today gonna do the Empress. I wanted to do the Hierophant last week because I did the High Priestess the week before that, and I wanted to do some similarities between them. Also, getting started, I want to, what happened there? Just talk about, like, how I've changed, some of the stuff that I did on previous streams. Like, what, at the end of these streams, I'm like, this is, like, probably finished, but everything's still subject to, like, a little bit of change. So, like, last week, here's where we left off with the Hierophant. So I did realize that some of the decisions that I made with this card were kind of skewed by my own complicated feelings about tradition and religion, to the point where I had sort of not played to the spirit of the card. Like, I really was sort of misunderstanding that this is a card about how you can trust traditions and that you can trust what you are being told by a spiritual leader. I am just naturally really skeptical, and I am naturally very untraditional. So it was difficult for me to see what the card really meant. And so I had sort of had this sort of truth beaming down into this guy's skull, but have it get warped coming out of his mouth. And that's sort of the opposite of what the card means. And, you know, I don't think I would ever pull this card upright. I feel like this card reversed is sort of my experience all the time. so I did just sort of do a little bit more thinking about it and changed it up a bit since where we left things off last week. And I actually really love how it turned out, which is this. Where, you know, the truth is beaming in and it's beaming out, you know, more or less the same qualities. And then this way, one, I think that this looks nicer, like from a design standpoint. It just has more balance to it. I like that it has a sort of stained glass feel, which does, you know, call to mind religion. That was the one thing that I actually liked about going to church as a kid, was looking at all the stained glass windows and making up stories about the people in them, because I didn't realize that there were already stories about the people in them. I didn't realize, I just thought they were pictures that were put there to be pretty. I didn't realize, like, oh, these are depictions of Bible stories. So I was coming up with like soap operas for all of the people depicted in the stained glass windows in my church. So, and I've been doing a lot of stained glass. So I kind of like how that went. And like, I got to add a little bit more color into this. Like, I like the sort of like pink color that matches, you know, the pink color of his skin. So it brings some nice balance. Oh, purple, what I was saying is that where we left things off with the Hierophant last week, I realized that I had sort of let my own complicated feelings about tradition and religion skew how I drew this card, to the point where I had totally lost the meaning of it. And so I had to go back and change some things up with this so that it was more in the spirit of the card. And, you know, even though I personally am way too skeptical about religion and tradition, other people are going to want to have that card in there, in depicting the meaning that it's meant to have. And at the very least, having this card in the deck just so it can come up reversed for my own personal readings, I guess. Because like, this card reversed is sort of my feelings about religion and spirituality and tradition. So yeah, I needed to go back and change up this card a bit. Yeah, so the Hierophant is about being able to trust that the, you know, spirituality and religion is putting you on a good and truthful path. That you can trust what you are being told. And that spirituality is guiding you in a positive direction. So yeah, that's not something I personally relate to. Because I just am so skeptical of religion, and I think all traditions should be questioned. And I'm especially skeptical of anyone who claims to be like delivering the word of God. I guess you could sort of frame it as following your own truth, although I feel like the High Priestess is more about like intuition, whereas this is more about external truth being told to you, I guess. But at the end of the day, any of these cards are really just meant to help you find your own personal truth. Find your own sort of personal, internal... These cards mean to you what they mean to you. So, yeah, it's something that, you know, I needed to stick with its original meaning. Again, if only so that it can come up reversed. And tell you to question traditions and religion. I'm just naturally distrusting of people who claim to know the word of God definitively. And so I just had a difficult time with representing that, but it needed to be represented. So I think it looks better this way too. It looks like stained glass. Yeah, the stained glass vibe is cool, and I'm glad that it turned out this way. Like but I wouldn't have been able to do this if I kept looking at it. Like, I got here because I took a break, walked around for a little bit, and then came back and, you know, did a little bit more reading on the subject, and reached a point where I could do justice to this card. And actually, I was talking to someone who was talking about the High Priestess with me, and like bringing this one up again. Oh, by the way, I should be stretching my hands while we do these chats. But yeah, so I remember when I was drawing the High Priestess, and I was like, it's supposed to be about like femininity and fertility, and I don't really jive with that. And also, like, there's a little bit of confusion because the Empress that we're drawing today is also associated with femininity and fertility. And I thought that was redundant, and someone was talking to me about how, like, the High Priestess really isn't about fertility and femininity. Like, a little bit of, like, you know, just being a female counterpart to the male Hierophant, but it's really not meant to be about fertility or femininity or any of those things. But, you know, a lot of the readings I was doing were saying, like, well, there's a pomegranate in this, so that means pomegranates are symbols of fertility and femininity, because I guess they look like vaginas. And that's the thing about, like, so many, like, aphrodisiac foods, is they're all just aphrodisiacs because they look like genitals. That's really what it comes down to so much. And then, like, the moon in there is representative of the cycles of the moon, which are representative of the menstrual cycle, which are representative of fertility and femininity, and just, like, there's all of these different, like, graphic elements in these cards, and people have, through the years, latched onto, like, which symbols are the most important. So yeah, both the High Priestess and the Empress feature pomegranates heavily in their symbolism. But the High Priestess wasn't meant to be about, you know, fertility. See, yeah, the pomegranate can be about, like, secret or forbidden knowledge, which, like, a lot of people also tie to not just Persephone, but also Eve. Like, we have this modern concept of Eve eating an apple, but from what I've read, like, apples weren't really, like, a thing in that area, in that time, and that it was more likely to have been a pomegranate. And pomegranates, you know, again, become this symbol of Eve and Eve's sin and Eve's punishment, and which is, you know, laborious, painful childbirth and menstruation and all of this stuff. Yeah, the apple thing is just a maybe not even so much a mistranslation as just an attempt to be like, well, you know, we don't really eat pomegranates here where we're talking about this, so let's change it to an apple. Like, yeah, it's pomegranates. So I do think, yeah, in the context of the High Priestess, the pomegranates probably mean, you know, secrets and knowledge and stuff like that. But then we have pomegranates also in the depiction of the Empress, which in that case are supposed to mean femininity and fertility. It's one of those things where a symbol can mean two totally different things. And I did think it was a little redundant to have the High Priestess and then the Empress right after her, both meaning essentially the same thing, which is what my initial readings were telling me about. Was just, well, they're both about fertility, they're both about femininity. And I was like, that's really redundant, so let's drop those things from the High Priestess. And, you know, I'm really glad I did, because it turns out those things were not actually important to the card at all. I'm glad I trusted my intuition in that case. You know, I do find myself just like, as I'm drawing these cards, kind of being really influenced by them, like really letting intuition drive how I drew the High Priestess. And yeah, symbols are extremely complicated, especially when you have something like, you know, a tarot deck that's sort of been reiterated and reiterated and reiterated, and symbols that started out as one thing mean a totally different thing today. And, you know, how do you state what is the meaning of the card, and what symbols are tied to the meaning of the card, and what symbols are just kind of in there because they looked pretty. And then afterwards, everyone decided to give them a meaning. Yeah, multifaceted is probably a good way of putting it. But it's, you know, it's good. I don't think any of these things need to have just one interpretation anyways, because they should be, you know, really personal. And, you know, you are going to get out of this what you want to get out of this. Like, this is really at its core, it's a meditation exercise. Like doing the tarot is a meditation, and it's a way of, you know, looking at symbols and deciding what they mean for you, and then deciding how those symbols relate to your own personal experience and what you want to do from there. Like, it's really just a way of getting yourself to think. It's guided meditation. And that's what I love about it so much. And it really is, like, I have a friend who's doing, she's keeping a journal where every day she just focuses on one tarot card and sort of writes how that specific card relates to her. She's not necessarily like pulling multiple cards and doing readings. It's just one card at a time, focusing on that one card and how it relates to her life. And I think that's really neat. And I think I've also sort of been doing that by, you know, focusing on one card every week and meditating on its subject matter. But all right, let's get to the Empress today. So this is another one that I sort of like wrote some notes for myself, like as I was doing research and like thinking about what I wanted to do for this. Like some of these cards, like I've gone into without a super clear idea of what I was going to do and sort of improvised. And then others I've been like, okay, I know exactly what I want to do. So this, you know, this is sort of about, this one is a little bit more about like femininity, and I guess rather than fertility, like abundance and harvest, like it can relate more to, I guess, like planting a garden rather than human infant babies coming out of your body. Because there is like, it does feature a lot of, there's like a field of wheat ready to be harvested. There's flowers, there's fruit, there's things that are ripe and ready and, you know, ready to be collected, you know, getting to reap what you have sown, which we usually use as a threat. But like, if you have sown good things, then you want to reap those good things. So yeah, just like abundance, hard work paying off, but also like, there is a bit of like luxury and royalty to it. She is an empress. She is royal. There is some luxury there. So my idea for this that I was sort of thinking about was a burlesque dancer accepting tips. Maybe the tips are like in the form of flowers, because it is like doing a burlesque act, putting that together is like, it's so much work ahead of time. Like for a 5-minute act that you put on stage over in 5 minutes, one, it takes at least an hour to get ready. It takes an hour of putting on makeup, putting on clothes, you know, if you're gonna shave things, you gotta take time to shave, putting on a wig, all of that stuff. And then there's just like, if you make your own costumes, all the sewing time, all the choreography, all the rehearsal, it's hours and hours and hours of work, sometimes spread out over days, weeks, months of putting something together, all to go on stage for 5 minutes and create this very like ephemeral thing. And then, you know, but oftentimes, like, I don't really do it professionally anymore. I don't really do it as like part of my job or something that I'm doing to make money, but I have in the past. And, you know, for those times it was like, all right, this is where the hard work pays off. I'm getting tips, I'm getting paid, I'm getting money for this. Like, I've put in all of this work, and now I can like finally actually prosper from it. Also that could be applied to like making any of my books, but like sitting down and like drawing is a little less dynamic than dance, I guess. Like, I know you're all watching me draw right now, but there's just gonna be a little bit more flow and movement in burlesque, which is also usually a fairly feminine art form. I like to say that like burlesque and pro wrestling are like two sides of the same coin, where like burlesque is sort of a hyper a performance of hyper femininity, and pro wrestling is like a hyper performance of masculinity. And like, obviously women and non-binary people wrestle, and men and non-binary people do burlesque, but it tends to be sort of within the framework of like, you know, it's almost like drag. Burlesque, pro wrestling, and drag, all the same thing. They're all a sort of performance of gender in a way. And so if we are doing a card that is about femininity, I want to do it about the performance of femininity, about the intentional things that femme people do to decide to perform femininity, and how to get something out of that. Because there's also the whole thing of just like, oh, you know, there's no point to doing a lot of feminine things, but it's one, there doesn't need to be a point for it to be good, but also like it can bring a lot of goodness into your life, and I want to show that too. And also burlesque with just, you know, luxury and royalty. It all kind of fits together. So, yeah, let's do this. Let's get drawing. Okay, so another bad posture day, and I feel like such a bad role model. This is the part that I was like, this is my secret shame. No one needs to see how I am such a gremlin when I'm drawing, because I am. But, hey, Silent Mouse, thanks for the follow. I appreciate it very much. All right. So, drawing in blue. I always start drawing these characters like way too big, and then I have to shrink them down and shrink them down and shrink them down. So let's see if maybe I can actually like draw this at an appropriate size right from the get-go. Also, I'm just gonna look at the traditional rider weight card just as inspiration. Because there's gonna be people that expect to see certain elements. You know, oh yeah, that Venus symbol. I was thinking could be like a tattoo. Oh, and the stars in the hair, the crown of stars. Oh, that's so burlesque. That's so burlesque. Here, let's pull this up where you guys can see it. So yeah. That's so, look at this. This crown of stars right here. That's so burlesque right there. And yeah, we can find a place to toss some pomegranates too. But yeah, there's going to be a lot that I change up here though. All right, yeah, midsummer kind of stuff for sure. So we want to get some danciness. This is always fun to do gesture drawings of dancing because there's just so much movement to the body. I'm not sure if I'm going to be allowed to draw pasties in this stream. I know that, like, even though they are art nipples, but they might not be allowed. Yeah, I drew that too big. And also, I was thinking about having her, like, actually bending down to accept the tips. But at the same time, like, this is an Empress. She wouldn't bend down to accept her own tips. They would have to kind of be thrown at her feet. But yeah, I don't know how pasties are gonna go over. Oh yeah, in burlesque, like, it's a very female-driven art form. Like, there's definitely dudes that try and get in on it and, like, take over and be like, well, I'm the dude, so I'm automatically in charge. And it usually gets shut down. Yeah, a lot of dudes think they really kind of just, like, waltz in and be entitled to a space and get really upset and surprised when that doesn't automatically happen for them. Crown of stars up in here. Yeah, already I know I gotta make this a little bit smaller. I've been speaking of Empresses, I have been watching The Great on Hulu. I don't know if anyone else has seen that show, but it was great. I love when a show is like yeah, we're basing this on history, but we're going to deviate from the truth whenever it's more entertaining, which this show is so upfront about. It's like occasionally based on true events. Like it says that at the start, and I like there's a lot of anachronisms which make it very obvious that it's not based in reality all the time. But yeah, it's about Catherine the Great's ascent to power in Russia, and it's very fun. I binge watched it last week. Alright, gotta make her smaller again to fit in everything on the card. So we gotta have some audience in there, throw in flowers, throw in coins. I'll give her some nice stripper shoes, because I want this character to kind of skirt or be one of those burlesque dancers that is also a stripper. You know, I do want this to also be about like the agency of sex workers and how they are like powerful and in charge of their own lives. You can also always tell which burlesque dancers are also like club strippers. They got the best dance moves, they really do. John, I did see that there's going to be a JoJo spin-off about Rohan, which I'm very excited about, but Alex is even more excited about because he has a huge crush on Rohan. he's in the other room just screaming about Rohan right now. Oh. Let's see. Those feet are really awkward. I wasn't looking at both feet at once when I was drawing these. Let's give her some ankle straps. I've got weak ankles and I just always get a little concerned about strapless heels. Because I fall down a lot. The ankle straps help me. Clean things up a little bit so I remember which lines I want to keep. Okay, and we're going to have to draw a certain amount of clothes on her. But I don't yet know which clothes I want to go with. Have some big lashes. I feel like now I'm gonna have to put a pro wrestler as one of these cards now. Oh my god, I gotta figure out which of these cards has to be a pro wrestler. There might have to be more than one pro wrestler because I do love pro wrestling. Even though I haven't seen it in a little bit, I still super love it. I'm glad that you feel inspired to draw now. Wherever you get your inspiration from, it's good. I'm happy I can be that. Yeah, maybe I should make the Emperor a pro wrestler. Just like the best wrestler, the championship belt holder. All right, we've decided. That's 3 people, if you include me, all saying that the Emperor should be a pro wrestler. So now the Emperor has to be a pro wrestler. That's just the way of things. All right. Let's get a nice fancy wig on her. And then put some flowers in there. They're not flowers, stars. That's what I meant. There will be flowers in here, though. So yeah, like pro wrestling has a certain like amount of royalty to it, you know? I'm gonna turn on my space heater, let me know if it's too loud. The microphone should be set up to filter it out, but it's cold, you guys. Chicago is like 0 degrees. And it's just so fucking cold. It's hard to draw when you're so stiff you can't move your fingers. I think her head's a little too low, or her tits are a little too high. She's got no neck. I gotta give her more neck. Yeah, it's a little bit, oh, hold on, you guys. Hold on, you guys. It's time for an egg break.
I wake her up just for this? Yes.
Oh, this baby. Can you even tell what part of the cat you're looking at here?
No.
Like, it's just fuzz. It's just, here's a peach right here.
Where's the egg?
I don't know what, I think there's an ear. There's a little ear right there. And lots of tail. Oh, there's her face.
Aww.
But she really is just like, she just whoops all floof. Yeah, we're looking at the egg part. Yeah.
Aww.
It's just, I've been calling her a little meringue lately because she is so sweet and fluffy and
She's
egg.
mad.
Oh,
Big man.
Are you grumpy because you got woken
Look
up?
at how mad
That's just her face. She just always looks grumpy.
No, she's extra mad.
Aww. Told her dad he can't bring her into the shot. Oh, look at that face. Okay. Okay, she might be ready to go back down for a nap.
Okay.
She has been the meowiest cat today. Oh, Alex says bye, chat. Yeah. She's been the meowiest cat today. This morning I woke up and I went into my craft room. And she was just like sitting on my sewing machine, just like meowing at me. He's like, excuse me. Egg is the true Empress! Shit! I need to erase all of this and draw this as Egg. Cause she really is, she rules our house for sure. But also, I'm not the best at drawing animals. I'm still working on it. Someday I'll be good at drawing animals. I did draw Egg for the emote for our stream. But that was not in this style. I feel like I wouldn't really know how to render a cat in this style. I really need to learn how to draw animals better so that I can become a furry artist, because that's where all the real money's at. I wish I could draw furry art. Alright. Is furry art allowed on Twitch? I know some places are just like so against furry art, and I don't know why. It's so harmless. I know furries, and they're all nice people. Alright, I can't have this just turn into a hair fest. I have to show other things too. Alright, so I was thinking maybe pomegranates could be on her costume somehow. Oh yeah, I was gonna give her a tattoo with the Venus symbol in it. And actually, maybe I'll put 2 Venus symbols, because I swear almost everyone I know in burlesque is queer. I don't know. Let's just go with 1. We're trying to homage the original a little bit. So that's a tattoo. Your only tarot deck is all cat themed? That sounds adorable. That sounds adorable. Hair's going off in a direction that's too extreme, I think. Maybe I'll do... Well, there's gotta be stars up here, so we can't make it too complicated up there anyways. So really... let's leave this empty to add stars in a second. Egg peering through a curtain with an angry face. I should just hide Egg in every single one of these. In every drawing I do. Like, oh, who is that? Who is that artist who puts the cat in, like, classic paintings? She, like, redoes... I gotta look this up, because I love these. She, like, hides... What is the cat's name? I gotta look this up because I love it so. I don't know how I'll look it up. Like an Easter egg? Yes. Yes. Sorry, I have to look this up because I just so love this artwork of, like, taking classic paintings and adding a little cat into them. Well, maybe I'll find it later. But okay, I will add this literal Easter egg to to the, so let's put the stage line back here. And, yep, okay. So we're going to have Egg's little face. Peeking. And people will be like, what does this cat symbolize? The cat symbolizes that I love my cat, Egg. No, it symbolizes that the true Empress lays hidden behind you. Did anyone else grow up with this weird thing of like cats are girls and dogs are boys? That like I've heard this talked about on the internet before, and like I definitely, yeah, growing up I was like, yeah, cats are girls, dogs are boys, even though I had met girl dogs and boy cats. It was still just like they were exceptions, and even though that like doesn't make sense for uh procreation. So that's the reason to add the cat. This is the symbol of femininity, because cats are girls. Erase sound too big. Look at her! Oh my god. Okay, this was the best idea. This was the best idea. Like, why am I even drawing the rest of the card when I should really just be focusing on Egg? Oh. I feel like I want to have her holding at least some of her tips. Whether I still haven't decided if the tips are going to be money or flowers. Or some combination of both. But yeah, gender coding is so wild. Like, it really is that. And, or yeah, like dogs are a pet for boys and cats are a pet for girls is definitely, like a thing a lot of people grow up with. Yeah, I'm gonna have flowers as the tips, because people also like throw flowers at the stage when they like a performance. All right, yeah, we'll have to have some flowers all scattered on the stage. Sizes, so it's visually interesting. Yeah, some also like still floating in the air, still being tossed. And let's see. Yeah, my gender wasn't working, so I returned it to the store, and they were like, do you want store credit? And I was like, no, I'm not going to get another one. I'm thinking probably I'm putting pomegranates. Well, I was gonna say put pomegranates in the curtain behind her, but that might be uh too much in the background. So maybe I'll put it into her costume instead. Maybe her pasties will look like pomegranates. So those would be some cute pasties. Oh, you can make those so cute. I want to make some pomegranate pasties now where all the seeds are little red rhinestones. Hell yeah! Ooh! And I think I'm gonna go with that, like, sort of peace sign pomegranate, too, that I did for the High Priestess. Hell yeah. That's cute. So I'm not drawing any nipples at all on stream. I am drawing pomegranates hovering over where the nipples would be. Yeah, like a Persephone burlesque performance would be. I really have had an idea for years of doing like a whole Greek mythology themed burlesque show and have it be like a whole sort of story to the show, which would be really fun, I think. And yay, Purple! I'm glad that that you're enjoying your first time in the art stream. This is like one of the highlights of my week, I will say. Every day that it's not Tuesday, I'm like, but can it be Tuesday? Because I love doing Tarot Tuesday so much. But I feel like if I did it more than once a week, I might get burned out. Like it's good to put myself in a place of like still wanting to do it so much. So I'm thinking maybe I might take this tattoo off and make this sort of part of her panties. Yeah, I like that. And let's go with some gloves. Just add more color into things. I'm gonna want more hair. We're going hair. We're going lots and lots of hair. And then I can add stockings on now that there's no tattoo there. Yeah. Egg! I'm so happy you told me to put egg in here because now every time I look at this card and see egg, I'm just gonna be like, ah, egg! And so is everyone else. Everyone's just gonna be like, ah, egg! They're not even gonna look, like, I could just leave the rest as a sketch and just render egg, and, because that's the part that really matters here. So, one thing I want to keep in mind when designing this is that all the other cards have had, you know, a sort of black background. And I have to think about how the background's going to be black in this. So I think with the curtains, I might just draw like white lines, but leave it black. We'll see. That might work. All right. So let me think real quick. So 12 stars in her hair, was that it? Yeah, 12 stars. Yes. We can do 12 stars. There's enough space, I think. Alright. I'm gonna make these pink just so I can see them and count them all. I think they're supposed to be like 7-pointed stars, which are definitely a little harder to draw. Ta, 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 ta. Oh, that's a 7-pointed star. Alright, let's do that 11 more times. Make them different sizes. That's 5 of them. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8. Okay, gotta do 4 more. They're all a little monotonous over here. Let's smaller. This one bigger. All right, we got 12 stars. Hell yeah, this turned out great. Yeah. I might want to show like some hands at the bottom, like tossing flowers in the air. Or even just offering. I just always go with agender for myself. For me, I don't have an internal feeling of gender for myself. I feel like I guess like non-binary woman is a term that I kind of relate to because it is like I am gendered female by others and I don't have a problem with that for the most part. It's just like it's not something I asked for. It's like, you know, it's like a gift from a relative where you're like, I get that, you know, you picked this out with love, and I don't necessarily dislike it. It's just not something I would ever want or need or pick out for myself. And so it's something that, you know, you can keep in the closet most of the time, pull it out once or twice a year when that relative visits. And you don't hate wearing that sweater. It's just not your taste. And it's just odd that everyone tells you you need to wear that sweater all the time. I think I'm gonna make all these hands sort of wheat color to sort of homage that there's like usually fields of wheat growing from the bottom of this card. Cool. I think that's a sketch. The Legend of Old Wheat Hands. Some say when you visit the old theater, in the middle of the night, you might catch a glimpse of old wheat hands. All right. All right, that's a sketch. Let's... Nice. Yeah, so many of my friends have multiple names. Some will use their like birth name, given name for like certain circumstances, but mostly go by it. I mean, it's the same thing as just like, oh, you were given the name William and you go by Billy. Like, it can be as simple as that, of just like, nobody thinks that that's weird. And like, I have I do respond to like Rosalarian or Florence in a like a burlesque setting. Like when I would go on tour, I would forget my given name was Megan. Like I would become Florence. I would answer to Florence. And and like so many of my friends are this way too, where they have multiple names. And I sort of forgot to tell Alex my real name until a few months in, because he met me in a Florence context, and a lot of my friends in Chicago I met through burlesque, and so they called me Florence. And just sort of forgot to tell him that my name was Megan. Um, it's just a cute little funny story we have now. He showed up to a party I was having and he was just like, "Hello, Megan." And I was like, "Oh, right." Did I not tell you that before? But yeah, I'm very cute. And so he got over it. Megan, Florence, Rosalarian. I'm cute first and foremost. Oh, I'm stinky second most, huh? Foremost cute, second most stinky. Arms get kind of awkward down here just because they're mostly going to get cut off. Let's see. Something I've really been wanting to do lately, but can't because it's COVID times. So I've really been wanting to go to the conservatory and just draw flowers for like a week. So there's a conservatory by my house that I've actually never visited in the 6 years I've been in Chicago. And yeah, a pandemic is not the time to start going. We do need an emote of one of the cats holding the horny hammer. This chat has not been as horny as it was last week. When Jin Fizz posted a picture of David Tennant and everyone just completely lost their minds for several hours. Yeah, I don't know if Jin's joining us today. I know sometimes she lurks. Sometimes she has actual work to do. And she does it. Not everyone has a job that they can stream stuff while they work. So I appreciate that everyone here does. And that you have chosen to stream this. So I very much enjoy doing it for you. This flower has to show that it's coming from this hand. It was leather pants, David Tennant. How is anyone supposed to get any work done after that? Maybe God would have kept going for 8, 9, 10, 11 days, but he saw a picture of David Tennant and he had to go to his bunk. Yeah, though. Yeah, David Tennant in leather pants. What was it called? Fright Night? Was that the movie? And yeah, we were all in that movie. In that movie theater. I saw it in the theater. I saw it in the theater. Yes, Alex, please get some leather pants. What are you doing right now, Alex? Why are you not going to the store to buy some leather pants? But yeah, I know that everyone in that theater was in that theater because of the leather pants. There was no other reason. Oh yeah, also last week, Jin talked about David Tennant licking an ice cream cone. And that also was just set everyone off. Hi, Ninja! Every time I see someone say hi, chat, but then also post a picture of a cat, I read it like the French chat, which is French for cat. Allo, chat. Bienvenue. Oh, wheat hands. I'm hoping I can have that pomegranate fabric for sale soon that I designed after what I did for the Empress. I just need to get my test swatches delivered. But then you'll be able to make stuff. The only reason I'm good at drawing hands and fingers and stuff is because that's all I drew in 6th grade. I sometime around 6th grade, like around like puberty starting, was when I all of a sudden just had this awareness of how Western comics treated women, like both in their depictions and also like female creators, like how I didn't really know of any female creators making comics, and like all the women I saw in comics, and I was mostly reading stuff like, you know, X-Men and stuff, and in the like 90s X-Men, which was just it was a lot. And so I just felt like, okay, comics are apparently not for me. I had like 6th grade was when I had this like year of feeling like comics are not, I'm not meant to be here. And it didn't help that like my mom forbade me from reading comics. My dad would buy comics for my younger brother who was like 5. But me at 10 years old wasn't allowed to read comics. In retrospect, I realized that my dad buying these comics for my brother might have been him really buying them for me. In a way that was allowed, I guess. So yeah, I just, all of 6th grade and like the first part of 7th grade, I was just like, okay, comics are not where I'm supposed to be. And then in 7th grade, I discovered Sailor Moon and like, oh, this first of all is made by a woman. And second of all, like features girls that are like me. somewhat, you know, far more relatable than the X-Men were for me. And so then I was like, oh, maybe, you know, this is something that I can do. And I got back into drawing comics, but for that period of time where I was like, I can't draw comics, I just practiced drawing hands all the time. Whenever I was bored in class, I would just look at a hand and draw it. And so I got pretty good at drawing hands. I don't entirely know why my brother could read them. I think it was in large part because my parents had a bit of a, like, my mom was in charge of the girls and my dad was in charge of the boy sort of thing. I don't know, we're just seeing comics as being for boys. My mom is definitely, like, chilled out so much and, like, no longer thinks those things. She was, like, very proud of me when I started getting published, and, like, she bought the first copy of my first ever book and was so proud to do it. I don't know if she ever actually read it, but she was very proud that I made it. Yeah, it was just... I was the first kid, and she was fairly overprotective, I think. There were a lot of standards put on me as the first kid. I hope my mom hasn't read any of my porno comics. I think about this all the time. I think she's aware of them. And we just have an understanding that we're not going to talk about them. What if she wasn't aware of them, but she was tuning into this stream right now? And then she learned about them right now. How fun for me. Alright, let's draw the dancer. Yeah, every now and then, I'll be at some sort of dinner with my relatives, and one of them will be like, I was Googling our last name, and you'll never guess what came up. And that's when I know, the conversation really needs to be changed right away, because there are not a lot of Gedruses in the world, and I am the first 1,000 results in a Google search, and they always seem to find the ones I most don't want them to find. I'm like, why are you bringing this up at the dinner table, please? Please. Such hell. But, like, my parents know I do burlesque and stuff. My parents have some pretty unconditional love, and I think so long as I stay out of jail, I'll be... Even if I went to jail, depending on what it was for. I think if I was, like, doing cannibal murders, even then, I think they'd still visit me in jail. It's nice to have that kind of love. I'm not going to do any cannibal murders, though. I want to just put that on the record. Dinner time is when all of the awkward conversations happen with relatives, and it has definitely sort of made me not want to visit my relatives for dinner. So Alex tried to, yesterday, he tried to get me in trouble at the next family dinner with his family, where he told me in Mexico they have a tradition, because it doesn't snow very much unless you're like way up in the mountains, that when it snows, they have a dish called cooked snow, where they like cook the snow with sugar and then eat it. And I'm like, isn't that just sugar water? And he's like, yeah, but it's just like a thing because it's special because it's made out of snow. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess. And he was gonna like just let me continue thinking that and go to the next family dinner and start talking about cooked snow like it was their tradition, and then let his whole family be like, what the fuck is this white lady saying to us? But he fessed up. And I don't know, there's like in Canada they just toss maple syrup in the snow and they're like, this is our thing. And there's like fried ice cream. I was like, I don't know, maybe they like make a snowball and they roll it in breadcrumbs or something. I don't know. I'm not gonna tell someone I think their culture is wrong. He was just gonna let me go and be like, hey, Coco, can I have some cooked snow? Oh, they still want to love me because I am the spoons champion. 2 years running now, because we didn't have a championship this past year because of COVID. They all love me very much. They are upset that we're not married yet. Not because it's sinful, but because they want him to lock me down. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, snow does have sort of a different taste from just, like, water. It takes on this sort of, like, I don't know, like an absence of flavor so noticeable that it becomes a flavor itself. I don't know. I don't know. You know what? So I went back in the fall. I went and visited a nice little cabin way, way, way out in the remote parts of Illinois, and it was lovely. And when I came back, I have had a really difficult time drinking Chicago tap water. It's like, I never noticed it before, but now I'm like, this tastes gross. I got so used to cabin water, just this really fresh, clean water out there. Probably, yeah, full of heavy metals, but, you know. At this point, doing stained glass, I'm like, well, I'm working with lead. Might as well drink mercury. I do love 7-pointed stars. Because they always make you, like, actually look at them. Because at first you're like, oh, that's just a regular star. And then you're like, no, wait, let me count. I want to go back to Canada so bad. my passport expired, and I was like, well, it's not like I can leave the country anyways. But I miss Canada a lot. Flux can be lead-free, but the actual solder that I use for stained glass is 60% tin, 40% lead, because that is going to be like a good compromise of structural integrity and strength versus, you know, a little bit of flexibility and low enough melting point to make it actually usable to work with. All right. Yeah, it's not the flux you got to watch out for. It's the solder. Which I think back to my dad had my dad was a contractor, and like he had me help him basically remodel our entire house, including doing plumbing, and we were totally like soldering pipes together without like wearing any sort of like ventilation mask. And he would give us little bits of lead solder to play with. Maybe this is why my memory sucks. Brain's just all lead wonky. I did finally get a doctor to prescribe me some ADHD meds, which I'm really excited about. I've been trying to get this done for years, and finally, that was why the stream was late today, actually, was I had an appointment with my doctor to talk about that. So yeah, I'm excited to try something out. Because I am not the most focused person on Earth unless I can hyper focus on something. And I'm just curious to see what options there are. It's not like, I do feel like to a certain extent my brain would be just fine if society was structured differently. That it wouldn't, there's definitely a lot of disabilities out there that would not really be disabling in a different society. Like, I mean, technically, like, without glasses, I am disabled, but we live in a society where glasses are fairly easy to obtain, not seen as weird to use, and, you know, it's weird to have something that prevents the use of glasses with no accommodations for people who use glasses. So, you know, we've structured society to make this no longer really a disability. And I think there's definitely things like, you know, with ADHD, one of the things that I've waffled over for a long time is like, really, is there anything wrong with me, or is it just a different type of brain in a world that doesn't want brains to be different, that doesn't want to make that accommodation? But I do live in this world, and this world that I live in isn't very easy sometimes with my brain being set up the way it is. And I've got a lot of workarounds. I've got rituals and things that help me make it easier, but I also, it's a lot of time and energy to do all of these workarounds, and I'm just curious about what I could do with those barriers eased or removed. So I'm going to give it a try. It's you know, it's not any sort of extreme medication from what I understand. And I'm just curious, honestly, about what life can be like if I'm not spending a significant chunk of my brain power trying to struggle against what my brain is wanting to do. And just see what kinds of things I can do with that stuff freed up. Yeah, I have an absolutely horrible memory. I am really bad about getting back on task after a distraction. Like, if I have to leave the house, you will never get me back to, like, settle down, sitting in my chair working. It's just not going to happen. I can either hyper focus on one thing, like I can sit down and draw for 14 hours straight and be fine. So long as I am doing the same sort of drawing. Like, it's why when I make comics, I do all the writing first, then I do all the sketching, then all the inking, then all the coloring, because trying to go writing, sketching, inking, coloring, writing, sketching, inking, coloring, every time my brain has to switch gears and shift into a different task, everything comes to a grinding halt. And yeah, that sort of thing is applied to a lot of other parts of my life too. And I just have a horrendously bad memory. Like, if you've watched any of our Skyrim streams on Fridays, every Friday at 8 Central, Alex and I have been streaming Skyrim, where I attempt to steal every single cheese in the game. It's very fun, but I often, like, I'm like, I've never fought one of these things before. And he's like, yes, you absolutely have. And I'm like, I've never been here before. And he's like, yes, you have. And I'm like, where am I going? You've been here 100 times before. I would not be able to play games like this if I didn't have Alex sitting next to me telling me, like, what's happening, because my brain can't actually hold any of it at all. Alex is like a seeing eye dog, but for my memory. Yeah, being, like, having an atypical brain is exhausting. And I'm very curious about if I will experience burnout less frequently if I don't have to spend so much energy struggling with my focus issues. I still don't have an official ADHD diagnosis because I have to go through like neural testing, which isn't available during COVID times. So I'm grateful for my psychiatrist who's saying, like, well, we're going to start you on this med anyways, even without that diagnosis, to give you something to help you cope until we can do some more, like, official testing, which is really cool. Like, I have a really good psychiatric team that has been doing a pretty good job and really, like, helping me out and listening to me. It can be such a fight. But yeah, Alex, Dark Souls was very fun to play because I just be like, I have no memory of this place. And whereas Alex has the best memory for directions on this planet, and he could, like, tell me exactly where to go despite not having played the game in years. He could just directly walk without making any mistakes to wherever he needed to be. Gotta do those dramatic eyebrows for the burlesque dancer. Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I should make this costume and do this act, except this is not the kind of burlesque that I do, and every time I try it, it does not work out. I am not a classical performer. I've started getting back to the point of saying that I don't really do burlesque. I do weird performance art that sometimes includes tits. So sometimes it, is burlesque. But other times it's not. But yeah, I definitely, over the years, have gotten a lot of really good ideas for burlesque acts without realizing that, it was a good idea, but I am not the performer to do it. Sometimes you can have an idea for something creative and also realize you are not the one that gets to create it. Some stories aren't yours to tell. Some you're just, at least for the time being, don't possess the skills to make. Sometimes you just end up not wanting to, even though it's a good idea. But yeah, there's also a bit of a wisdom in knowing which ideas to pursue. I've been thinking a lot this week of my old coworker who, oh, we've got an Alex break. Hi. Oh, bye. Do you have something to say? Oz is here?
Drink some water.
Oh.
Yep.
I'm having fun.
You having fun?
Yeah. It's turning out good.
Can I help?
No.
Can I help? Can I help?
No. I'm gonna lock my office door.
I know how to open these doors.
I'm gonna barricade myself in.
It's toasty.
It is toasty in here. I can probably turn the space heater off now.
Space heater.
It was very cold for a little bit.
I love how as soon as I get in here, your the move on is just like, make fun of Alex. I'm like,
Yes. Yeah. Oh, we like. Yeah, we love it when people make fun of Alex. He should be made fun of all the time.
you love it.
You love it too.
Kind of. Tsundere about it.
Yeah.
No, don't make fun
Don't
of
make
me.
fun of me. Oh no.
No, Baka.
Oh no. I'm definitely not a fool.
You playing games tomorrow? On stream?
Yeah. What do you want to play tomorrow? Because you've been doing Hades on Thursdays.
Yeah.
We could play more of the intern game. What's it called?
Going under.
Going Under. Yeah, we could play more Going Under
We
tomorrow.
could start with Evil again.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's up to you.
Yeah, we can figure it out.
I'm helping.
Yes, you are.
I'm helping.
Bye.
Ah.
He's helping. Yeah, any idea what we should play tomorrow? Also, Alex's Hades streams have been very fun. I got him to finally admit on his last Hades stream that maybe it's not so much musicals that he dislikes as it is Andrew Lloyd Webber, who we described as the pop punk of musicals. Alex is a cat. Alex is 100% a cat. I don't like those toes. Also, friend of the show, Gin Fizz, has been making these really cool stained glass pieces of stripper
Also a
shoes.
cat.
But yeah,
Let's play Minecraft.
yeah, let's play Minecraft! Minecraft! Okay, we're gonna play Minecraft. Yeah, we're gonna play Minecraft tomorrow.
We're gonna get the fancy. We gotta get the fancy RTX shaders on.
Sure. I'll let you set that up. The thing is, when I was in high school, I consumed a lot of Andrew Lloyd Webber stuff. And so I have a bit of a nostalgic thing for it. But I can recognize that it's not good. It's I mean, here's the thing. I like a lot of stuff that is objectively not good. But it can be fun. I lost my mind while watching Cats in the theater. But it was less about Andrew Lloyd Webber's contribution to the movie than it was for the absolutely insane CGI and the fact that Idris Elba looks naked. He looks naked. I felt like someone needed to help him out in that movie. The first burlesque show I was ever in, we did a parody of Jesus Christ Superstar, with Jesus as a pole dancing stripper, and played by a very tiny Jewish woman who did just such an amazing job. It was fun. I've had songs from Evita stuck in my head all week, and I want it out. I do want to not be listening to Evita inside my head anymore. Yeah, I wish I could just like put on some good musical soundtracks during this, but copyright issues mean that we can't. But yeah, I love Rocky Horror Picture Show. So does Alex, and like he loves Little Shop of Horrors, and I'm sure he'll love Sweeney Todd. He's gonna watch The Producers with me. Like, I got him to list off like a whole bunch of musicals that he likes. I'm not sure if he likes Grease or is just really obsessed with it in an odd way. He talks about Grease a lot, and he was in a production of Grease in high school. Alex has feelings about Grease that I don't know what they are. But I really want to have a show on this channel where I make Alex watch musicals with me. Get him drunk and make him watch musicals with me. And whether you get to watch the sincere joy of him discovering another musical that he actually likes, or whether it's him roasting the shit out of the musical, I think it'll be a good time. But so far, I've gotten him to watch a few musicals with me that he did not hate. So, you know. I am a musical theater gay, and I love musicals. Although I haven't seen a lot of the, like, big classics. I've never seen Wicked. I really want to see Wicked. I've never seen Hamilton, but I guess I can watch that now that we have Disney Plus. I don't know. I feel like I really wanted to see Hamilton for a really long time. And then when I finally got the opportunity to, I was like, I don't know. Like, my desire had sort of expired. I'm really loving this. But yeah, I want to do some watch parties for sure. Alex did a watch party of somebody, he was watching somebody watch one of the Juggalo movies, and now our Amazon Prime is suggesting more Juggalo movies. And I don't know why this is the second time in my life that my streaming services have gotten all fucked up due to living with someone who wants to watch Juggalo movies. It's not right or fair. It's not okay. Actually, I'm not that mad about it. I know some Juggalos that are perfectly fine people. Like, aren't we all on Team Juggalo now because they were like on our side for something? Yeah, I tried to read Wicked, the book, and yeah, it was super boring. It was super boring. I tried to read some of his other books too. Like on a camping trip, I think I got some of his books from the library. What's his name? I can't remember his name. But yeah, I bought a bunch of his books, or got his books from the library and took them on a camping trip when I was in high school. And I hadn't brought any other McGuire. Yeah, I hadn't brought any other books, and like I started reading it, and I was like, "Oh no, this sucks." But I didn't have any other books to read, so I slogged my way through it, and I don't actually remember anything from these books because they were so forgettable to me. They were so boring. Nothing really stuck in my head. Granted, books that I do like, I also don't remember. I reread some of my favorite books every couple of years, and I'm surprised by every single twist and turn that happens, because I have such a bad memory. And yet, I've always been really good at memorizing lines for plays and stuff. I don't know why that's the exception. Brains are funny things that I do not understand. There's a lot of shit I don't understand. I really want to write a musical someday. I've flirted with it in the past. Been thinking about it lately. I really kind of want to write a musical about wrestlers. And puppets. It's just something I've been thinking about lately. I want to get... I like making puppets. I've made some puppets for acts in the past, and it was really fun. And I have this idea of doing like a dirty puppet show. And I kind of wish I had a one-night stand with a puppet maker a few years ago, and I wish it had gone better, so that I would have someone to teach me how to make puppets better. Isn't that what all guys are afraid of? That girls are just using them for their puppet making skills? It's true, though. Yeah, something like Avenue Q. I think there's so much more that puppets could do on stage. Like, I wouldn't want it to be like Sesame Street with wrestlers. I really just like how puppets can be so, like, larger than life. And yeah. Some of them can be, like, downright monstrous. And just very dramatic is what I like about the idea of working with puppets. The drama of them. Yeah, wrestling is also, like, yeah, it's such a pageant. It's so over the top. That's why I say that, like, wrestling and burlesque and drag, they're all the same thing, because they're all just so over the top, and these costumes and the way they move, it's all so exaggerated, and that's the stuff I love. Almost like cartoons in real life. That's the shit that I like. I just love anything that says, what if cartoons, but real? Eat that shit up. One of my greatest achievements is knowing that someone bought some of my fabric to use in their wrestling costume. That's the coolest thing to me. They bought the pizza fabric. Which is wild, because I actually have fabric that is wrestling themed. But I love that they went with pizza. Alright. Work on the hair, probably, I think. Every single one of these that I do on stream, I'm just like, oh my god, this is turning out so good. This is my best thing ever. I can't believe now that I was like so nervous to live stream drawing. When it's been like, one, it's been such a good thing for like pandemic related stuff of just like, being creative in a completely silent room is so hard. And having y'all to talk to and like bounce ideas off of has just been really great for the creative process. And it also does, you know, scratch that itch to perform that I always have. I haven't been on stage in over a year. It's super weird. Um, I miss it. Like at first I was like, I don't miss this, so maybe I should quit. Like, because burlesque had, you know, a lot of upset over the summer of, you know, how castings involve a lot of nepotism and like a lot of people end up on stage that are, you know, undeserving or just like taking up space from someone who deserves to be there more. And I was like, well, maybe because I'm not like as passionate about this anymore, that I am just taking up space from someone who would want to be here more than me. And now I'm just like, well, I was just burned out, I think. And like, there's a lot of stuff that I was like, well, maybe when the pandemic ends, I won't pick this back up again. Right at the start of the pandemic. Because it was, I will admit, like, at the start of lockdown, that was the first time in ages that I felt like I really had a chance to breathe and reassess what I wanted to be doing. Because so much of my life was just like, go, 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 always be doing something, no time to pause and think about why you're doing the thing. And I finally had a chance to be like, all right, what do I actually want to be doing with my time right now? And for a little while, it was just nothing. I was just burned out, needed a break, and didn't want to do anything. And I finally had the space to just... Well, I say do nothing, but I did write an entire novel in 6 weeks at the start of the pandemic. But I wasn't doing all of my usual things. And so I had a period of time where I was like, well, maybe that means I shouldn't be doing these things if I'm enjoying not doing them. But, I mean, there are some times when I don't enjoy drawing comics. But that doesn't mean I should quit. It just means I need to find ways of managing burnout. And waiting for a global pandemic is not always going to be available to me as a solution for burnout. So, gotta come up with some other ways of avoiding it. I will say IRL wigs this long on stage are such a hassle. It's like you can't reach behind you to like get your bra strap unhooked or like unhook, like unzip a dress or anything. It's just all tangled in hair. Updos are definitely more prevalent hairstyle in burlesque for sure. But this isn't a real person on a real stage, so she doesn't have the same real problems. And I just love drawing fancy, crazy long hair. It's wild how I used to absolutely hate tangents like this. Tangents being where like two different, like the outlines of two different objects intersect to where they look like they are sort of the same line. rather than one sort of overlapping the other. But ever since I've been doing stained glass, where tangents are sort of necessary and part of the style, I haven't been as bothered when I accidentally draw a tangent. Or have started drawing them on purpose. I do think it's neat how every time I pick up a different art form, it will influence any other art that I'm making. Like, has that ever happened to any of you? Like, doing multiple forms of art, like, melding the two things together in a way that, like, you hadn't considered? Who's calling me on the phone? No one should ever call me. I'm a millennial. I really want to just set my voicemail message to just say, "Who is this? Who sent you?" And then the sound of a phone hanging up. Those curls are turning out the same size, so let's give it some variation. Gotta add some more detail. Behind the stars. Y'all, I'm so excited to draw the Emperor as a pro wrestler now. I, like, didn't really have much in the way of ideas for that one. But now I'm so excited. Oops, just a little bit more hair I gotta do. There we go. Cool. Gonna draw a little egg now. I feel like I want the curtain to kind of like that. Big. Egg represents how some of your biggest supporters are behind you when you're on stage, you know? That maybe your champion is not out here in the audience. You know, maybe your champion is right behind you. They got your back. And that's how you that's you know, their support is what made you a success. And yeah, egg is my biggest supporter, you know. Also, it does represent the fact that Egg is an Empress. It's true. She really is. She really, really is. Alright, I'm gonna draw... She does look like a little Yeti. Like, for real. I mean, hold on one second, because, like, we need to look at a picture of a Yeti. And, like, for real, is this not what Egg looks like? Like, this is just Egg. Like, look at that. That's Egg. That's what Egg looks like. That's just... This is what my cat looks like. She looks like a little Yeti. But like a nice one. Egg looks like this. A little Princess Yeti. Or yeah, tiny Wookiee. Yeah. Right? Are these not just pictures of Egg? It's, yeah. This is 100% what Egg looks like. Oh, I should slide it over. But yeah, that's Egg. Right there. That's Egg. And we love her so much. Okay. Back to drawing. And Baby Yoda! Yeah! We started watching The Mandalorian last night because we got Disney Plus. I'm enjoying it very much. Baby Yoda is adorable. And yeah, reminds me of Egg. So I am like, yes, you must protect the child! Do anything for this child. I feel like we need to have a show on this channel that is just Egg. It's just a camera that we put on Egg, and we can all watch her just be cute, doing nothing. It'll probably be our most popular channel. Yeah, we could just put a camera on Egg when she's sleeping. Just like Egg Dreams show. Oz is the cutest when he sleeps, though. He has a very active dream life. I don't know what he dreams about, but I'm very curious about it. But he is all the time. He'll snore. He'll, like, make little noises and snorts, and, like, he'll, like, move his paws around, and... Yeah, but Egg hides her face with her tail when she sleeps. It's very cute. Suffice it to say, sleeping cats, very cute. Always. Cats are neat. Love cats so much. I love tiny cats, but also I love really big cats. Like Egg is small now, but she's still bigger than a lot of fully grown adult cats. She's still a baby, and she's bigger than a lot of adult cats. She's like more than 8 pounds now. And also someday I really want a Norwegian forest cat. Just so big, and like a full Maine Coon. Because Oz is part, but not all the way Maine Coon. And I just want an army of large cats. I know I've talked about this on stream before. But it's true. And I gotta keep mentioning it. Just putting it out into the universe to know that I need an army of large cats. But we have to move to a bigger house first before we can get more cats, because I'm actually very allergic to them. I do take a lot of meds just so that I can have egg. I was fine with scrambles. Actually, scrambles is not very allergy inducing for me. Oz a little bit, but then we got egg and it's just been allergy city every day. But she's worth it. She's worth it. I will continue to take these meds for the rest of my life if it means I get to have egg. Need to have more flowers facing the audience. I love how Ron Perlman looks like a Maine Coon cat. Like, people have said that Maine Coons look like Ron Perlman, but Maine Coons existed before Ron Perlman, so he looks like a Maine Coon cat. And tuxedo cats have existed since before tuxedos, so really, tuxedos are named after cats. And yeah, why didn't they cast Ron Perlman to be in Cats? Like, or Wilford Brimley. Wait, is he dead? But there's people that already look like cats, and you could have cast them in Cats and saved a lot of money on the bad CGI. Just put Ron Perlman in there. As is. Just Ron Perlman right in there. You don't need any CGI for that. Someone seriously needs to let me run a movie studio. Because I have ideas. Alright, got all those flowers in the front. Oh yeah, I did want to add more flowers to her bouquet. Yeah, they should have hired furries to make the cat suits. They really missed out on so many opportunities by trying to go with CGI. They should have just recognized that it is just 100% absurd whimsy and leaned into it. They took it way too seriously. And one of these flowers to actually be facing the audience too. Right. Gotta draw some of these floor flowers. Let's make a separate layer from the background. Oh, right. Let's make a group for the background. First off, gonna beef up the line weight on this hand to bring it forward so it's in front of the stage. Same with this one. Go. Yeah, that looks nice. All right. Honestly, should just have like a bunch of stray flower petals around as well. Maybe one crushed under the shoe. This is so cute, you guys! I'm having so much fun drawing this! Oh. I can't believe a month ago I was still waffling on whether I was going to do Tarot Tuesdays. I was like, I don't know. Starting a tarot deck is such a huge undertaking. I'd have to stick with it for so long. I don't know if I can do it for that long. And now I'm just like, I'm sad there's only 78 cards in this deck because I want Tarot Tuesdays to go on forever. So where's the frame go to? Okay, so I'll do a little bit more flowers on the right side. And everything else would get cut off anyways. It's always so sad, like doing comics and spending a bunch of time working on part of a panel that ends up getting hidden behind a speech bubble anyways. And you're covering it up with a speech bubble and just thinking about how much of your life you spent drawing all the stuff behind that speech bubble and how no one will ever see it. All right, we got flowers. Now, I'm going to do this in red, but then I'm going to change it to white, I think. Let's see. It should actually... Which one in Cats was the theater cat that Ian McKellen played? What was that cat's name? Because that's basically Egg right in this right now. She's being a theater cat. Was it Gus? I think it was Gus. Augustus the theater cat. Yes. My favorite time when I was on tour, we were in Florida, St. Augustine, Florida. I still remember where it was. And we were staying in an RV park, and a cat just got on the tour bus and just hung out with us for a day. It was great. Just found us in the RV park and said, "Hey, you guys, I'm your new best pal." And we were like, "Yes, you are. You're our new best pal." All right. And yeah, I'm going to color that white. It's just red now so I can see it. I'll fix up this egg a little bit. Egg is right outside the door playing. I can hear her little jingle bell. Oh, I should probably put some lines on the stage, shouldn't I? I want the stage to almost look a little bit like it's hovering. Just put a bunch of black down here. All right, that's looking nice and dramatic. So cool. Let's do some coloring. First, I do want to do the pomegranates in red. And then I want everything else to complement that, I guess. Egg. I love her. Okay. And I'm probably gonna make this match. Oh yeah, wheat hands. Wheat hands. His hands represent wheat. See the wheat flowing in the breeze. Or amber waves of grain. Let's see. I'm gonna go with pink for the shoes also. Because you do want some coordination in your color scheme. There's some red gloves. All right, and now her skin, what color is it gonna be? Maybe, yeah, Amber Waves of Meat doesn't have the same ring. But you know, ooh, maybe this purple? Or maybe like a green almost. I kind of like... I love green and pink together. But you gotta find the right shades or it can end up looking a bit Christmassy. This could work. We'll see. I like the sort of spring green. But we'll have to see. Alright, her hair. I keep doing purple hair. I keep doing purple hair. I need to pick a different color. I just think purple looks good with so many things. But we can try orange. Let's try orange. Just gonna fill in a large area and then erase what doesn't need to be orange. I'm gonna leave the stars just white so that they'll pop. Yeah, that orange could be good. Maybe more of a reddish orange. Oops. Oh, was that the color I was already using? Maybe a paler orange then? Maybe... Nope. Wrong. Press that button. Okay. Maybe more of a bluish green. Oh, there we go. There it is. I love when it just clicks. I love when a color scheme. And that means I think that this will look, yeah. That's so good. Hell yes. Yeah, it pops so good, that green and that pink together. It looks so good without looking like Christmas. Let's see, maybe give her... Oh! Oh, yes! The light pink stockings. Yup. Alright. Alright. Alright, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Oh, yeah. That looks great. So happy with these colors. And then I think that same orange can be used for the stage. Yeah. Well, maybe not, because then the amber waves of meat don't pop so much anymore. I have to think about this. But for now, I'm just going to color the stage all one color so I can recolor it. Alright, let's see. What color can this stage be? Maybe if I just make it a darker orange. Yeah. Yeah, then those hands pop. Oh my god, look at this. Look at this. Alright. I'm gonna color the flowers after I color egg. I'm actually gonna do egg in a sort of like pale lavender. Yeah, purple egg. See how it's looking with the frame. Oof. Yes. Yes. Loving this. Loving this so much. Dang, should I change that to white? Or keep it red? Kind of liked that bit of color back there. Yeah, I like it being a color. Okay, cool. Good to know. Oh, turn this frame off while I'm working. Now the flowers. So I'm going to go a green in this same family. So like this one's 100% cyan, 50% yellow. Let's see. No. 50% yellow, maybe 75 cyan and 25 yellow. No, keep that at 50. This can be the green. Stems. Do you see a little black flare? Yeah, I figured having only the stars being white, yeah, highlights it. That's why I didn't want to leave egg white. Because she's supposed to be a little hidden, and having her be stark white would make her pop too much. She's, you know, she's hiding in the background. Look at all the stems. Oh, nope, up here. Although I do kind of like having the flowers also being white is also kind of neat for making them pop. But at the same time, I know like white flowers are seen as a symbol of purity that I don't want to have in here. All right. So definitely going to want to do some of these in the same pinks. Oops. Wrong tool. The same pinks we've got in here. And then, well, we did egg lavender, so we can do some sort of lavender color. I think I talked about this on the last stream, but a really good, quick and dirty way of doing a color scheme is to just take your Roy G. Biv and just eliminate one of those. So like in the last card, I didn't use green anywhere. And for this one, I'm not going to be using blue anywhere. And I also, when I'm doing color schemes, I pick either pink or red. I don't like how pink and red look next to each other. That's a personal preference for me, though. Like Valentine's Day and Christmas got these just horrible to me color schemes. Looks like I forgot to finish coloring a little bit. It's pink, and this little bit needs to be black. I think having a few of the flowers be white can sort of balance the stars. I also don't want any white ones behind. Okay, good, there's no flowers behind the words. light. Where's those amber waves of meat? I want them to be a little bit more of a bright yellow. Maybe the same color as her hair for those. Is that the color I did for her hair? Maybe split the difference? Yeah, I like that a little better. Just to make things a little brighter. And where's the flower layer? I do want to do some that are the same gray as egg. Hell yeah! I think that might be a card right there. I think I'm pretty happy about this. Yeah. We got our luxurious, royal, feminine creature. You know, gathering a bountiful harvest of, in her case, adoration and flowers. You know, we got the pomegranates in there, we got the Venus symbol in there, we got the stars in her hair. Oh, I should give her some makeup, actually. She's gotta be wearing at least some eyeshadow. Hold on, not quite done. I have nightmares all the time about finding out that, like, I have to be on stage in 2 minutes and I'm not wearing any makeup and my costume is not on and I can't find all the costume pieces. We're not going to do that to her. We're not going to have her have nightmares about being on stage with no makeup. Let's do one of these purple colors. And I always just, I love putting my eyeshadow all the way up to my eyebrows. That's just how I love doing it. That's me. But yeah, there we go. We've got an Empress. And yeah, this, you know, I did have a, like, vague idea in my head of how I wanted to do this, just as far as knowing, like, okay, burlesque dancer accepting tips, and that's her, you know, bountiful harvest. Really, so much of everything else turned out so different from how it was in my head. I love how this series really does have me making those good, I wouldn't say mistakes, just that, like, sometimes when I draw, I just, like, really have a strong picture in my head, and anything that I draw that doesn't look like that, I'm like, oh no, this has failed. But this series is so much like improvisation that's leading to like better results than I had in my head. I'm very happy with it. Yeah, just happy accidents, or just it's like when you're on a trip and you're like, okay, we're gonna hit this thing and this thing and this thing. We're gonna go to this museum. We're gonna go to the beach. And then you get on the vacation and you're like, oh, there's these other things to do here that we didn't plan for, but do you want to do those things instead? And they end up being way more fun. That's kind of how I feel like when I go on these tarot card art journeys. is, yeah, just coming at these things with a really super strong idea in mind, and then just ending up somewhere completely different. So that's cool. Yeah, I will show this off to everybody else next week, but you know, you all get the treat of seeing it first by joining the streams. So it turns out that I do have like custom YouTube URL, which I'll drop in the chat for if you want to see the archives of this, because Twitch keeps things up for 2 weeks, and then after that, if you want to see anything older than that, I am archiving them all on YouTube. Yeah, we'll be doing the Emperor next week, which if you weren't here earlier, we sort of decided that since burlesque and wrestling to me are two sides of the same coin, that the Emperor has to be a pro wrestler now. That's just what's going to happen next week. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for that. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me today, giving me ideas, telling me how cute my cat is. So it sounds like tomorrow we're gonna start playing Minecraft, me and Alex. On Thursdays, he's playing Hades. Fridays we play Skyrim, the great cheese heist. Yeah, maybe see about having a movie night on the weekends or something. We'll see. But yeah, we appreciate you coming by again. Today I started a little bit late just because I had that doctor's appointment at 1:30. But usually every week you can see me here at 1 p.m. Central Time every Tuesday for Tarot Tuesday. I draw a card from start to finish. Usually takes about 3 hours. And yeah, we have a blast. So thanks for joining this week, and